Computer because you all made a mistake?
Not really, no.
So you want to get mad and hit the computer because you made a mistake? Because your company made a mistake? You want to take it out on me?
I'm not taking it out on you.
So why did you get mad and hit the computer? Why did you get mad and hit the computer?
Because I have met.
I'm sure you're on camera, right?
Yeah, I am.
I'm sure you're on camera. So this is the type of people they have working here.
I gotta go, man. I gotta go. You ruined my life. You ruined my whole life, man.
Wow. You gotta be kidding me. Wow.
You saw this on social media?
Yeah, I did, man.
This is a tough one. I saw everyone kind of, posting this. Tariq Nasheed had one of the most eloquent forms of race baiting I've seen all year. And he titled it, "A white hotel employee has a nervous breakdown when a black customer tells him he made a mistake," making it inherently a racial thing. And in the comments, everybody was laughing and clowning him and basically memeing him. And, we're in the middle of a pandemic. People have lost their jobs. People are suffering extreme forms of loneliness. The rates of mental health disorders are skyrocketing. And when someone's having a nervous breakdown, they're clearly in a crisis. By all indications, when you look at this person, that's what it is. It's very obvious. This is someone who's having a manic depression of sorts. Like, you could see it. Everyone was so much concerned with themselves and how it make them look. Like, you know what? Sometimes I understand, if a hotel is not treating you well, you want to film your customer service interaction. But when you see someone having a mental health breakdown, why would you go through the process of not only continue filming, but antagonizing them? And then beyond that, going to post it on the internet. That's the step that I'll never understand.
There was a couple of years back, there was another video of a hotel clerk, and she had big eyes, and she was like, "Okay, what's your reservation?" Mm-hmm. It really looked like she was tweaking and shit. You're gonna post that for, like, you have to understand when you're posting stuff like that what the ramification is. But that's what people do. They present themselves like that to have people are so occupied in being viral and having the next big story that they present themselves like that. And sometimes they're gonna antagonize people just to have that reaction, and that's what I think is very whack.
Yeah, and the person in question has come out and said, "Yes, I do have bipolar disorder," which I didn't even need a confirmation, but it's good to have. No. This person said that they're schizophrenic, and this is where the job where people are working with him to be able to help him get work. And if you already know how hard it is to work as a person with mental health issues, for you to see someone struggling and then want to post it online and further stigmatize them, like, man, I don't play with this shit. I know people in my personal life who clearly have mental health issues and who are not addressing them. There's such a stigma surrounding it. And so when people look at it, see someone having a mental breakdown and choose to actively go and make that whole thing worse by posting them online and feeding into their paranoia, it just blows my mind that people don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, I work for hotels. I work for customer service. I did many jobs in customer service.
Yeah.
First thing I'm going to say before I go in, a lot of these establishments do not care about their employees, or they let their employee face the problems that there is in the industry, in the corporation, in that work. There's a lot of problems sometimes, and they do nothing about it because, having a better working software would cost too much. Having this would cost too much. It's not cost this, cost that. I remember when I was working at a hotel, there's a lot of things that were lacking, and they were not fixing the problem. And people ended up leaving the job. And they were always trying to put the pressure on the people working at the hotel than fixing the problems. Unfortunately, there's a lot of corporations that are like that. And as the people that are what we call frontline workers, people that are on frontline, they're going to be in front of the customers that gets all the shit, and they try to cope. They're basically the thing between the customers and the company. So the company doesn't do their job, The people working up there are not doing their job. So it's the people from the front work that they have to do everything that they can to absorb what the client is telling them and all the hardship that the client is telling them. That's the first thing that I see in that video that I saw. There was probably a problem, and that person is under a lot of stress because he's at the front desk. There's a lot of standard. There's a lot of pressure being at that position. Now, you know, nobody asked him to not choose that job. I understand that. But the first issue that I see there is there's things that are not working and stuff like that. And there's a lot of pressure, which are not taken care of oftentimes. The second problem that I have with is, why do you first, before you start hitting himself, you saw there was a problem. I'm talking about the person that is filming. You saw that it was a problem. Automatically you film it. We're in this era that we're filming people right there and then, instead of being like trying to work with what's going on and stuff like that. So we went there. Oh, okay. There's an error with my reservation. You're going to learn today. And we film and we present ourselves like that. The person sees the camera, but they can't do nothing about it. Right. The third thing, a lot of people are going to be like, their first thing when they're going to see this is to start laughing and stuff like that. Mental issue is not something necessarily to laugh about. I feel bad for that dude. Maybe it's because I've seen people having a mental breakdown, because maybe it's because I've seen this thing happen. You're filming someone that has a mental breakdown. Like, this guy is obviously not well, but you keep on filming him like, oh, wow. And you keep on putting more pressure. Maybe it's because you didn't know, but you keep on putting more pressure. He got triggered. That's someone that got triggered by something, obviously. I'm not saying that he should be doing this job. I'm not saying that he necessarily has the help that he was supposed to receive. But you filming and continuing to put pressure, you're not helping. You're absolutely not helping. And now you're going to post it on social media for what? For that person to get fired? For that person to lose his job? For that person to lose whatever he's able to have to pay for? I think there's a lot of things that are wrong with that, but maybe I have a different take. And you know, the first thing that I said in that video when I said, like, you know what, there's a lot of people that put pressure and stuff like that. That was just something that I try to relate to. It doesn't even mean that the hotel that he works at are like that, but it's a possibility.
Well, he feels like they are. He said that they are. He said that these corporations don't care about us and it's time for him to quit. So he quit and he's going to go take care of it. And it's true what you said about, like, the people on the front bearing the brunt of the bullshit that the corporate folks do. And the strain that it puts on them mentally, what you said is true.
They don't care. People do not give a crap. And whenever those issues are reported, they don't do shit about it. I remember, like, I was working in a 5-star hotel, dude. We had a problem with, we didn't have enough cups for coffee and stuff like that for the service. We didn't have, the resources were lacking, bruv. So what I had to do, I tried to tell them, and you know me being petty. I'm going to tell you once, I'm going to tell you twice. But at the third time, I'm going to put, even if I'm working in a corporation right there, I'm going to choose, of course, the moment where I'm going to do that. We had a union and stuff like that, so I was under a union. But I'm to make things better, I'm good because I like my job. I love my job. But the incompetence of the people above me was astonishing.
Incompetence?
As much as they were not. The incompetence and the way that they didn't care about their job, or they didn't care about the environment or the product. Listen, this is a 5-star product that you're giving, but you try to give it at a cheap rate. It's a 5-star product. So what I had to do at one point is just to show them the errors that they were doing. And at some point, they were doing coffee. I had no cups. No cups to bring coffee. And it's part of my standards, so I didn't bring coffee up. Oh, sir, it's going to be, oh, you want coffee at your room? It's going to be 45 minutes to an hour. And then I have complaints. And then they come down, and I'm like, hey, I brought this up a lot, but I don't have any cups.
Yeah,
Come here.
But they still scream at you.
Yeah, they still. As a matter of fact, when there was a new management that came on, she tried to get rid of me. I told her what the issues were, but if she's the new person in place and I'm the one bringing up all the problems that there is, and the higher people that just bought the hotel are telling her, well, you know, we want this to be cost effective and this and that. Me complaining is bringing more costs because there's more cost that needs to be on there in order to fix the problem. They don't want to hear that. They want to be cheap.
I used to work at I didn't work. I used to volunteer at a soup kitchen. It was on Fridays, back when I was in high school. And then after I was done my 40 hours, I just kept going. I don't know. I kind of like going there and serving food. And there was always homeless people who would come. Pretty much homeless people or people who, and you would see people with all forms of mental health conditions.
Yep.
And you know what? Some of the times when they were trying to manage it, you could tell like there were some tense moments. There was some very real discomfort. But these are people who are suffering from very difficult things that they may have not diagnosed or will never get diagnosed because we as a society have really put these issues on the back burner or want to constantly push them off. And as we drive people towards more isolation, more loneliness, more just self, more people are developing these issues at astronomical rates. And so I think I understand the desire to want to videotape everything, but I also have to ask at what cost. When a phone literally comes in between you and another human being, how are you supposed to connect and conversate with people, to understand them when you're constantly consuming them through this medium? That's why, as great as this YouTube stuff is, it's never going to amount to the stuff that I get from the people in my life, right? It matters how you consume folks. And when you're just looking at a camera to try to get the person perfectly in frame, you miss the ability to connect and maybe see some of the dots like, yo, this person may be going through some shit. Maybe instead of trying to constantly look for culpability in somebody else, maybe what I should be doing is try to understand the situation better. Sometimes I'm dealing with customer service, right? And even though I'm frustrated with the policy in front, I'm like, you know what? I know it's not your fault because this is the policy in the way that it's placed. But you're the person in front of me. So I'm not going to get mad at you, but get me to somebody who can help me. You dig what I'm saying? And if you can't, then let's just leave it at that and I'm going to walk away. I'm going to be displeased, but I'm not going to yell at you because you're at the front desk. You know why? Because generally it's the people who are poorest, who have the least control and the least power, who bear the brunt of decisions that they had little to no part in. And we make them pay. We make them pay. So that's the sad part for me. I just hope that when you guys come away from this, that we just have a little bit more patience with each other, a little more understanding. Okay? And let's also be mindful. Like, if you're going to post something online and all this other stuff, just be mindful of whether or not the person across from you is vulnerable. That's the biggest thing. We had somebody who was going through a shitty day. We filmed them having a shitty day, and we laughed at them.
Yeah. That guy that was filming was trying to make that dude that punched his computer look like a Karen, while the biggest Karen was the one filming. Yep. That's a Karen move.
Yep.
That's what you're trying to do.
Yep.
I want to speak to your manager. You posting it online. You see what your employee did? It's a white employee. You try to make it a race thing on top of that. You the biggest Karen.
Yep.
You talking about white women doing whatever. You the biggest white woman out of the two motherfuckers that was on that video.
Yep.
The guy filming, you was a Karen right at that point.
Yep. I agree with you.
You transcended that.
I agree with you 110%. So, yeah, that's how I feel about the whole situation. I hope the person, continues to get the help that they help and they find a different job. I know they started a GoFundMe for the individual in question to help them out. I don't know how I feel about GoFundMe in general, but if you guys want to support, you guys can certainly Google that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this whole matter. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. And by the way, if you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, it always helps us out when keeping the numbers up because sometimes YouTube can be unfavorable. So, yeah.
Yup, you got that right.
A não ser a vontade de te encontrar, o motivo já nem sei, nem que seja só para estar.